You know how we always start a little bit hyped today or whatever? I think today we can be a little bit more calm today, you know? I feel like the energy that we can have today is a little more, you know, appropriate. Let me turn it down a little bit. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, so at this point, I have no idea what to freaking watch right now. So, I did finish Heavenly Delusion more recently, and I also finished Leveling Up with the Gods. Again, I have an idea of, like, what I want to read next. I actually might be between, like, the Kaoru or Gokuragi, but, the other, what I want to watch is a little bit more difficult, because, like, I got, like, I'm between, like, Code Geass, 86, Vinland Saga, Hinamatsuru, which is a slice of life anime, and also more of a comedy style anime, so that could be pretty decent. And then High School of the Dead. Now, the one thing I'm going to point out right away is that, one of these is not like the other. Oh my god. God of High School, whew. Watch Overflow, watch Fire Force. Oh, I've already watched Fire Force, and I have, Code Geass is great. Oh no, he wants to watch there's a different, technically it's not hentai, it's not, entei. Technically it's not entei, it's more of like, an adult-rated, shit. Kind of like a similar level on, like, Kaguya-sama and Berserk. I'm not joking when I say that, by the way. Berserk and Kaguya-sama are both seinen. Like, in case you didn't know that. Watch High School DxD. Read the manga Fire Force is good. I'm considering that. I'm considering that. It's H anime. It's adult. It's adult. It is a the original manga was a seinen, but yeah, it definitely which by the way got like it got canceled like 30 chapters in, or it got hit with the axe, and then it just became very popular with its anime release. I wonder why. Watch the Castlevania anime because there's no manga for it. Oh yeah! Oh, fair warning, Code Geass does have an apparent lack of censorship. Oh really? Watch Overflow. Bro, jokes. Overflow shit. Record of Ragnarok. Oh, I am not watching that shit. If I'm ever gonna consume that shit, I'm gonna read it. No, I'm not watching that bullshit. Bro, y'all want me to watch slideshow animation? Are y'all crazy? With like one Black Butler. I actually went to like a store one time of like the first. Castlevania is my favorite game and anime show. Nice. Alright, so what are we doing today? Reaction stream, P4, or something else? I don't know what we're doing today. But, yeah. This calm vibe, huh. You know what? You know, I don't know if this actually fits my energy right now. I don't know if this really fits my energy. So, how about we switch it up a little bit? Da, 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 da. Da, times and all the real shadows of green pales my heart appear messy onto the close. To the close. Do. Yes! Radical Red? Yeah, I'll go Radical Red. Okay, we got Reaction, Radical Red, P4. Recat? I can't count your vote, Diego. I don't know what recat means. So we got one vote apiece for like, CBR? Alright, we can do that. Shoot. Alright, let me bring up my... Here we go. Alright, we're doing, like... I'm definitely staying away from... let me see. 8 Rasengan users ranked by strength. Let's see. By the way, you have no idea how often I've literally been, like, listening to, Yasuabi, to be honest. It's like, bro, Idol's, like, Yasuabi and Idol, oh my god. It's like, so freaking good. It's such a great song. 20 anime that caused me, okay. Let's see, 10 anime characters who look weak but are strong as hell. Alright, how could CBR fuck this up? 5 anime characters stronger than All For One? Bro, are we really, like... Okay. Y'all know how, like, MHA's, like, Y'all know how, like, dumb this is, considering the fact they have, like, a freaking universal, or... not actually universal. Multiversal power going up against freaking All For One. It's not hard to find characters that are stronger than All For One. Because All For One can have, like, all these quirks and shit, but they all have their own side effects and whatever. But on top of that, and while he could theoretically, and while he's pretty strong, he's not killing, like, these multiversal, like, threats. So, like, no shit.
All For One is the big baddie of My Hero Academia, but when you stack him up against some of the greatest fighters in anime, he's not so tough. Here are some of our favorites.
But, like, I mean, I guess it's that type of topic. Okay, how can they fuck this up? All they gotta do is put in, like, universal threats, show that All For One, or at most, right? Or at the bare minimum, right? And, like, go from there, right? There's no way they can fuck this up, right? There's no way.
Favorite heroes who would bring him down no problem. It's pretty much impossible to talk about the toughest warriors in all of anime and not mention Goku from the Dragon Ball franchise. It seems like supervillains are always trying to either take over the world or destroy it completely, or...
I mean, no shit, Goku is stronger than All For One. Like, again, I just don't think it's, like, I feel like it's not fair, though, to, like, put a guy who's, like, multiversal and just, like, be like, yeah, that he can definitely beat All For One, because All For One does not have multiversal scaling or even close. MHA is not a freaking power-packed universe and shit. It's like, it's not even close to that. It's like, there's some, like, decent hacks that certain characters have, I guess, but some of those have some drawbacks that can be overcome, and, like, and none of them just come even close to overcoming some of the, like, strongest characters in all of fiction. I could put fucking Saber, Gilgamesh from the Fate series, like, freaking, Simon from Gurren Lagann, and, like, be like, yeah, those people easily slam All For One. All For One is kinda trash outside of his own verse, because he can't steal people's abilities, because none of them have quirks!
At least the confident ones do. But Goku has more than enough power to crush the entire Earth.
Why would they, like, I feel like the thing is that, like, the way I would do this is that I would put in characters that are of a similar scaling to All For One. Not put in multiversal fucking characters that are just, like, that we know for sure slam the shit out of, like, All For One and swat them like a mosquito.
Or even destroy the whole universe. Don't get me wrong, All For One is a formidable villain, but Goku is next level.
This is like the equivalent of saying that, like, Ria's Gremory is hot. This is like, it's just too freaking obvious, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't feel necessary at all. But, it's very, like, Sailor Moon Negs, Psyche, Yamcha would fucking would slam him.
He is so strong that in Dragon Ball Super,
My anime OP / and I can name a better one, you say Fushiga. I say Lost in Paradise. Oh, shoot, not bad. Ooh, okay.
Had to hold the Tournament of Power in a negative dimension, because otherwise the power of his battles would have shattered the entire known universe.
Top 5 humans in the world who can beat an infant.
Goku is so powerful that he doesn't even fear the all-powerful Omni King, who is capable of blinking out universes on just a whim. Okay.
Again, like, but why include him in this list? Yeah, you're correct, yeah. But it's too obvious. You guys can't find characters that, like, scale to him, or, like, or whatever, that scale to All For One properly. You have to, like, go to, like, fucking multiversal level threats in order to find characters that can beat All For One. Yeah, no shit, he can be beaten by Goku. He wouldn't survive one attack.
Okay, so maybe that's because Goku is too dumb to be properly afraid of Xeno, but still, it's impressive. Oh.
By the way, can I, like, say it as a side note that Super, kind of, like, make Goku, like, really not intelligent? I mean, he wasn't smart to begin with, but it at times got a little bit out of control.
And did I mention that he can summon the ultimate god of his universe by literally pushing a button? Because it's pretty telling about the level of Goku's strength that he doesn't use this all the time.
Button? Like, really? What, we're real, I mean, okay, well, so, wait a minute, are we, like, saying that he can, like, that because he can summon, like, Zeno, he would be able to, he'd clearly be able to beat All For One? You don't need that point, Goku just has enough raw power by himself.
All For One is a tough villain, but he's a mere mortal. When Goku wants to challenge himself, which is pretty much always, he fights against actual gods. Gods of destruction. Beerus can destroy...
Again, pitting the Dragon Ball universe against MHH universe is so freaking dumb, because none of it makes freaking sense.
Planets with a single flick of his finger, and Goku was able to hold his own in a fight against him. Not only that, but his primary concern during their battle was how to prevent his home planet from being wiped out. And then there's the fact that he's managed to
Remember when Anime Goku almost destroyed the universe in his god form? Bro, it's like nuts on like how like it's like, yo, CBR really did 15 things Dragon Ball Super does better than DBZ as a... Bro, are we serious right now?
Master Ultra Instinct, a move so challenging that even Beerus can't really pull it off. Goku's body can react of its own accord to incoming attacks, meaning that he can preserve his own precious...
Dude, we don't need... Bro, this segment does not have to be as long as it is. You have us at, like, the first freaking line of, like, Goku is multiversal. So, he's going to whoop All For One's ass. You don't have to extend this shit further.
And somewhat limited mental energy. This hero grew up throwing cars around when he was just a kid. And it's...
Now, actually, here's a good question, though. How many, like, could Kid Goku actually beat All For One is the question, is a better question. Because, like, putting Goku at that level is, like, just absurd. But what about Kid Goku? Like, how would Kid Goku beat All For One is the question. Not from GT, DB Kid Goku. I'll leave that answer to y'all in the comments.
It's safe to say that he's gotten a little bit stronger since then. Like, potentially whole
I recently rewatched Goku vs. Frieza and Kai. I forgot how hard that fight went. It's a great fight. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super Goku is pretty dumb because the animators make Goku dumb. Literally anybody who could keep up with Goku at the beginning of Dragon Ball arc can speed blitz all four and do some FTL feats. With ease, yes, okay.
universe destroying. Even when he's not in Super Saiyan God mode, his powers are still pretty much God tier when you compare them to characters from other fictional universes. Quirks or not, Goku is just on a completely different level from All For One. And a battle between the two of them would hardly be a challenge for Goku, much to his disappointment, I'm sure. Sorry, All For One, but maybe spend a bit of time in a hyper...
So, like, if we're just, like, saying a Kid Goku just, like, blitzes, All For One, and, like, the rest of these characters, and, like, at that point, there's just no reason to put Goku on this list. Again, because it's just, like, way too obvious. I mean, again, I feel like it would have been interesting if they actually included Kid Goku here, because, if they specified him, because, like, honestly, like, just saying that regular adult Goku by the end of Super just beats All For One is again, like, saying that, like, it's just like saying water is wet. It's just unnecessary. Everyone knows that shit. But, like, actually talking about, like, how Kid Goku could do it is, like, would actually show that this company knows a little bit more than DBZ originally. Which they clearly might, but I don't really think that they, like, really talk about original DB as much, and just talk about DBZ instead. Because that's a more popular one, and, oh yeah, I got DB, the original DB is a prequel and shit. Like, no. It's the entirety of DB, and it came first.
Hyperbolic time chamber and then get back to me. Both admirable and compelling about Goku is that he is always pushing himself to his absolute limits. We've seen him give it everything he has, and sacrifice his own health and safety in order to protect others. So we have definitely seen him reach the at least temporary limits of his own power. But Saitama from One Punch Man is a total...
It's Saitama. Let me see, let me make sure they're doing that pronunciation correctly.
But Saitama from One Punch...
That's actually not bad. That's actually not a bad pronunciation. Usually, but it's Saitama, but, like, honestly, not terrible. Not the worst pronunciation I've heard.
Punch Man is a totally different story. We haven't even come close to seeing him go all out on an enemy, and why would we? Whatever he did during...
Okay, let's, like, also talk about this again. Yes, a guy that probably is, like, what is he, star or plant level at this point? Or what is he, like, star level at this point or some shit? And a guy that literally can, like, one punch so many freaking threats in comparison to, like, fucking, clearly, yeah, All For One is shaking in his boots right now. Bro, Saitama would literally just take one punch from Saitama, would just nuke the shit out of, like, All For One. It's not even close. Like, what? So, like, we're, like, going, like, why, like, yeah, Saitama beats All For One. In other news, water is wet. Again, why are we scaling, like, All For One isn't close to the scaling feats of, like, Saitama. Nor do I feel like you can match, like, the raw power. I know, I'm not even saying, like, Goku versus Saitama. I'm saying, like, All For One versus, like, versus Saitama. And, like, it would be just, like, way too freaking obvious that Saitama would win that one again. I feel Saitama probably could just, like, easily, like... Isn't there, like, a feat of him, like, sneezing on Jupiter and, like, a bunch of the planet and layers of the planet came off? Like, a sneeze or some shit? Or, like, what was that feat in the manga? I haven't, like, gone too deep into, like, the One Punch Man manga, but I've seen that feat a lot. Like, absolutely fucking not! Like, Saitama would neg freaking All For One. Like, why are we like freaking, why is, again, put someone that has similar scaling, not fucking Saitama!
During his training period may have made his hair fall out, but it also made him the strongest being in the One Punch universe, if not all other fictional universes. In fact, Saitama's greatest enemy isn't even a living being, because if it was, Saitama would blast him straight into the stratosphere. His real enemy is his feeling of aimlessness, and he struggles to cope with the fact that even the biggest baddies out there aren't enough to put up an even mildly interesting fight. And as we all know, you can't just punch your way to a positive outlook. Other than his constant existential crisis, Saitama's weakness, if you can even call it that, is he doesn't just throw his strongest punch around on every single enemy. If he wanted to, he could have utterly destroyed Speed of Sound Sonic. But instead, he stepped in to stop his fight with Geno and can barely even remember his nemesis's name. He's capable of punching his enemies so hard they actually explode, but he doesn't always put his all into
Is this CBR? Yep.
punch. If he did, the show would be a lot shorter.
Again, like, why though? Why are we talking about, like, again, Saitama has higher scaling feats than fucking All For One. They're not in the same tier of power and shit. And I swear to God, if y'all talk about fucking Goku versus Saitama in the live chat, I'm going to scream. I'm like, but like, back to this entire topic. Yeah, Saitama beats All For One. In other words, water is wet. In other news, water is wet. Like, really?
And a lot messier. But an enemy like All For One might actually inspire Saitama to, try in a fight. All Might did a pretty thorough job of trouncing his villain, but he keeps coming back for more. With this in mind, Saitama would definitely benefit from taking him out once and for all. And based on what we've seen of his powers, he has the skill to do it. Saitama could destroy the entire planet if he had a mind to, so taking out all
I feel like CBR is fluffing this video too much with how strong the first two entries are.
For one,
yeah, like, really?
Require his mightiest, most singular punch. Or maybe he could just punch that mask right off his face like he did during his battle against Boros and let nature take its course.
All Might! You couldn't even put in a no character? You had to use a fight that we've already seen? You put in fucking All Might as your first choice? Bro! Bro, we've already seen this fight! What is the point?
You don't even have to venture outside the world of My Hero Academia to find someone who can defeat All For One. That's because this anime contains the greatest hero there ever was or ever will be.
Bro, you can't even, like, put in original fights and shit. No, you were sort of doing that with your first two characters, even though they're freaking, like, they have higher scaling feats than All For One does. And now you're putting in, like, freaking All Might, a fight we've already seen. We've already seen All Might whoop that ass. We've already seen him literally whoop that shit. We don't need to see it again.
And his name is All Might. No, don't even bother arguing with me about this, because it is an indisputable fact that All Might's the best, and we all know it.
Bro, well, I'm not going to argue that All Might's a cool character and all, but, like, again, why are we talking about a fight that's already been, fought? Like...
Now, moving on. When My Hero Academia starts out,
Can Prime All Might beat All For One? Is water wet?
Almighty All Might admittedly isn't at his best. Thanks to a grievous injury from years back, his power is waning, and he's only able to access a mere fraction of his strength he had in his prime.
All Might beat... Oh yeah, All Might beats All For One. In other news, I wanna fuck Tei Takemi. In other news, I want... In other news, I want to fuck Kushina Uzumaki. Bro, this feels like it's too obvious. This shit's like too obvious. We've already seen it!
Before you let this dampen your faith in our hero, I have some bad news for you. This kind of thing happens to us regular, non-spectacular humans too. Anyway, All Might can only stay in his super buff form for a short period.
Why are we talking? Why do we keep repeating this shit? Just talk about bro, you don't have to flub this video out with this bullshit, man.
Of time, and even then, he's not as strong as he used to be. But that doesn't mean he can't absolutely destroy enemies, including Nomu, who was created with the express purpose of bringing him down. Sure, it took a few more punches than normal, but he got the job done. Even when All Might had to use the last remaining dregs of his power and a broken arm, he still managed to deliver a rousing United States of Smash. This blow was powerful enough to blast a crazy...
Bro, what is this? Bro, this is just like, oh boy.
To the earth, save the day, and make Deku cry. Definitely just him and not any grown men watching at home moved by this amazing display of strength and...
Hey, great fight, it's a great fight, by the way, but let's, again, why are we talking about fucking All Might? It's a waste of space because we've already seen this fucking fight!
Courage. Usually when we put together these matchups, it requires a lot of speculation about what would happen if these two characters interacted in real life. But we've already seen All Might defeat All For One at just a...
Yeah, we did! Why are you talking about him?
Fraction of his possible strength. And this was the second time he defeated All For One, since he was the villain who caused his health to start deteriorating. Even if the villain survives, it is still a win, and All Might has taken down All For One twice when most characters couldn't even survive a single encounter. At full strength, All Might is unstoppable, and even with a little bit of fire left in him, he is still unstoppable. And don't even get...
let's not... I'm here to, always also say this. All Might's goated, by the way. But, in his own way, but, still, again, I don't understand why we're putting in, I don't understand why we're putting in this much, effort and shit into talking about a fight that we've already seen happen.
Me started on his massive amount of inner strength, which is what truly makes him such a great hero in the first place. Goku and Saitama are both so crazy powerful that Naruto might not look as impressive in
a character that has in his adult form arguably has feats that could put him at fucking galaxy level and around the Kaguya arc and then universal in the base according to the fucking light novels. We're putting and in his own series, arguably has feats that could allow him to destroy a fucking planet. From what we see in the anime as well. And we're putting in this fucker and saying, oh yeah, this guy that has planetary planetary plus, galaxy plus, universal plus feats. And we're putting him against All For One. What are we doing right now? What are we doing right now? Okay, seriously. Why are we doing this shit? Really? Really? So, we have, freaking, we have, oh my god. Oh my god. I still just, have to wonder what the hell this guy is freaking, what these people are thinking, you know? I gotta wonder that, right? Because, let's be real. Let's be freaking real here. Yeah. Saying that Naruto beats All For One is again saying, I wanna fuck Tsunade Senju. It is a fact. I wanna do it. I don't understand why we're saying this shit.
In comparison. But let's take a moment to consider Naruto on his own merits instead of stacking him up against potential universe-destroying titans. Because our favorite Hokage isn't going to be fighting against Goku or Saitama in this scenario. He's going up against All For One. And I think Naruto is definitely powerful enough to bring this villain down. All for One's big trick is stealing other people's quirks, but it's likely this power wouldn't translate to Naruto's abilities. I'll give him his arsenal.
Bro, Naruto, like, bro, like, especially if, like, Naruto's pushed to, like, QB mode and shit, bro, actually, let's not even debate, like, Naruto in his current form, and by the time it gets, like, fucking Boruto versus the Otsutsuki bullshit. Let's talk about, like, at bare freaking minimum, like, I don't even know if freaking, the best thing the best comparison that All For One would have in order to, like, be like, okay, there might be a chance All For One would win, is fucking Part 1 Naruto. It's fucking Part 1 Naruto. He's not beating a Naruto that has the fucking Rasen Shuriken. He's damn for sure not beating Sage Mode. He is not under any circumstance beating KCM Naruto. He ain't beating 76 Paths Naruto. Or ending the series Naruto. Hell, he's not beating fucking Boruto. And he sure as hell is not beating Boruto Naruto. Or Barry Mode Naruto. Or bro, at the best matchup he has is fucking Part 1 Naruto. And he still might get his ass whooped. Because if Naruto goes into One Tail state, hell, but that's his, like, best comparison. That's his best comparison at this point. I feel like that part, like, what? I mean, honestly, again, I would be interested to see what your thoughts on, like, if Part 1 Naruto could beat All For One, but, like, past that, it's a watch.
Have already stolen quirks, but I doubt he'd be able to take away any new skills in this clash of anime characters. All For One can grow himself some new arms, but Naruto can unleash an army of shadow clones. All For One can enhance his physical form, but Naruto can enter Sage Mode and give a serious boost to his abilities. Basically, take all the tricks All For One has, and Naruto can do them better. We know that All For One did some considerable damage to our hero All Might, but Naruto can use the Tailed Beast balls to revitalize life force, heal wounds, or grant other temporary chakra cloaks. With Ragdoll's Search quirk at his disposal, All For One might be able to hold his own against Naruto's army of shadow clones, so I'll give him a point there. But overall, Naruto's abilities are more impressive, and without the option of All For One acquiring more, that's not gonna change. If these two characters ever faced off against one another...
Bro, third round shooting examines Naruto, whoops All For One's ass. Oh, we going that route, huh? Oh, man. Bro. Alright. How y'all feel about this? Third round... Okay. What is, like, the best... Bro. I don't know, like, how, like... I don't know a single version of Naruto... If that's the case... If that is the case... Who does All For One beat? Part 1? Like, a freaking Academy Naruto? Like, if is that the guy that we're getting? Is that the guy he can beat? He's beating, like, the beginnings of Naruto, who is probably, who's, like, at his weakest at that point because he didn't have the Shadow Clones. Yeah, that might be his best matchup. That might be it. Except if Kurama has to get involved, I don't know if he's winning that either.
Another, All For One's best option would probably be to warp away before he's totally destroyed. There is no denying that All For One is a tough villain to beat, but it's possible that all the right hero needs to defeat him is a little bit of magic. Alright, let's be real here.
Magi. I'm not familiar with this series. I might watch it at some point, but isn't this verse overpowered as hell? Like, isn't this verse just like, I might be thinking of, like, Tokyo Mew Mew, which I don't know much about either or whatever, but, like, isn't Pull a Magi, like, universal or some shit, or multiversal even? Aren't the characters in that verse completely overpowered? Could we even count? I mean, it did say that, like, 5 anime characters stronger than All For One, so since All Might beat All For One twice, I guess he is stronger than him, so it doesn't say, like, it's not saying, like, whether or not they kill him or not, it's like whether or not they beat him. Yes, it's OP. Madoka is universal plot. The Magiver... No, this is overkill for All For One. Madoka is
an insanely large amount.
Oh, this is Madoka magic. Oh, God.
Magic. But luckily, I know of an anime where access to that kind of magic isn't a problem. In the world of Puella Magi Madoka Magica, or simply Madoka Magica, tons of...
Yeah, okay. This is, okay. So, Madoka Magica. Oh, shit.
Powers can be yours for the low, low price of your soul. But that's a small price to pay the insidious yet adorable Kyubey for pretty much any...
So, Madoka Magica. We're putting Madoka Magica here. I think the fairest matchup would be like episode 8 Naruto. Was that during Waves, I think? That was during Waves, right? Yeah. Oh boy.
Wish. And pink-haired Madoka definitely got her soul's worth.
I'm not watching the rest of this. But I'm not watching. I don't want to spoil myself too much on this shit. I'd like to go in blind if I ever had to consume this series. As much as I can. I like to limit the amount of, like, series I get spoiled, I have myself spoiled by, because, yeah, Twitter is a little bit of a bitch. And thank God. God. 15 strongest anime characters of all fucking... Bro, why is Gojo... Bro, what? Bro. Oh, boy. Okay, my full thoughts on this video, on that video was, okay. So, that was bad. Because, like, here's the thing. If you're putting, like, Universal plus characters against freaking, against, like, All For One, it's no shit he's gonna beat those guys. Like, My Hero is not a series that has overpowered ass characters that can be scaled up to Universal level. It's a series that keeps itself a lot, it's a series that has, like, more so, I guess, at best, C-level threats, right? Like, threats that feel a little bit more something that is akin to, like, real life and shit, but still has that, like, hero fantasy type aspect. It's like a less overpowered version of, like, of any comics you read, right? So, putting those characters up against, freaking Universal plus characters is ridiculous. Especially since a lot of those characters face off against world-ending, universal-ending threats. And it's not even... So, why in the hell are we putting... I mean, I guess technically, All For One could like, be a world-ending threat in his own way, but not to the point he would, like, destroy a fucking planet, just, like, be, like, a fucking demon lord or some shit, right? So, my main thing about this entire thing is, like, if we're putting, like, world-ending threats, again, like, characters that can destroy a whole planet, by the way, that's what I mean, against All For One, who has scaling feats that don't even come close to that. It's like a case of, no shit, Sherlock. And then you put in a fight that we've already seen. a character that we know has beaten All For One. The only character that we know has whooped that All For One ass. And, or actually, maybe that's not even the case anymore, because apparently, like, freaking freaking Tokoyami and Jiro put in some work on that guy. But, as I keep saying, this is like, it is like way too, like, a character that has beaten All For One already and that we know of is another pointless addition to a list because we have already seen it before. We know it. It's just like way too obvious. How is it possible that, like, God, it actually sucked. That was really bad. I'm not gonna lie. That was really bad. Okay, that was they were not cooking there. They were not cooking. What is the 1 and 15 fiends? Alright, we're gonna do one more. 15 fiends. Dragon Ball Super does better than DBZ. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad.
As great as it was to...
Bro, this is literally the Tom Grossi music at the start of the intro. This is like, what the fuck?
Finally get more Dragon Ball, not every fan of the franchise got on board with Dragon Ball Super, and it's not hard to see why. Between the bad animation, weird jokes, and sagas that don't quite stick the landing, it's clear that Super doesn't exactly live up to the power of Dragon Ball Z. Plus, it just can't beat the classics, and Dragon Ball Z is overall...
So then why there's no way you're going to be able to pick 15 fiends that Dragon Ball Z does better than Super. That Dragon Ball Super does better than Z. This is going to be a bunch of bullshit.
The superior series. That said, there are some things that Dragon Ball Super did
some things. Again, you put in 15. That's not some by anything.
Better than Dragon Ball Z.
If you said 5 fiends, I guess that's okay. But like 15? Bro, that's clickbait in of itself.
From the Beerus Saga to Dragon Ball Super Broly, let's take a look at all the things that Super does better than DBZ. Fans might be mixed on Dragon Ball Super, but there's only one thing they can't deny is great about the series: the humor. The original Dragon Ball started out as an adventure comedy,
and you barely talk about it!
As the series progressed, the humor was dropped in favor of the action martial arts elements.
There was some humor involved in. I wouldn't fully disagree. I don't fully agree with that. Yeah, it did get toned down a little. From what I have known about DBZ is that it does from when I watched it. There are a lot of good humor moments in the show. That is something to talk about, you know. But I would also say the humor, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Drew has a point here. Humor is a bit subjective in that regard as well. But this is
continued in Dragon Ball Z, and it's all action and some comedy thrown in. Not to say that this made Dragon Ball Z stale or anything, but it was nice to see comedy return to the franchise in Dragon Ball Super. From Goku's dim-wittedness to the slice of life.
That dim-wit, bro, no, I don't. If you're bringing up Goku being a moron as like one of the comedy points, I find it a lot more frustrating.
Life episodes, Dragon Ball Super knocks it out of the park with the comedy, bringing a sense of fun to a show that might otherwise be a bunch of serious scowls and fights. Some of the best comedic episodes in the series include when Goku lost control of his ki, when Universe 6 and 7 competed in a baseball match against each other, and when Goku impatiently waited to train with Whis.
How are we feeling about this one, though? DB's Dragon Ball Super is better at humor than DBZ. I don't know about that one. I feel like Dragon Ball Super does have some good jokes, but at times some of them just, like, feel out of place at times.
While Dragon Ball Z had a few humorous moments and episodes, like Goku and Piccolo learning to drive, Dragon Ball Super's humor tends to make things a bit more lively. Another thing that Dragon Ball Super
Raising the stakes? Are we actually crazy right now?
does better than Dragon Ball Z is raising the stakes. Now, you could argue that Dragon Ball Z did a good job of raising the stakes with each saga, thus making the story more interesting and the situation more perilous for our heroes.
I mean, I don't know about raising. I don't know about that one, G. I don't know if you saying Dragon Ball Super did a better job at raising the stakes is a little bit out there.
Dragon
I
Ball Super
think.
cranked the concept up to 11. In Dragon Ball Z, we started with the Saiyans, warriors with power.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Like, someone might actually like Arail being in there, but which from that Dr. Slump manga, which is another Toriyama creation that a lot of people probably haven't read. But like, honestly though, again, humor is subjective, and honestly, I don't think that like saying that one piece of humor versus like another being like objectively better is just like correct. I think humor definitely is very subjective in that regard.
Power beyond the belief that came to Earth. From there, things were escalated by the heroes going to space, where aliens like Frieza and his army stood as some of the most powerful adversaries that Goku and his friends had ever faced. This trend continued with the androids, Cell and Buu, all of whom were simply stronger than the last antagonists. Dragon Ball Super used a similar concept, but also built out and expanded the universe to increase the scale of the series and thus put more at stake when the new antagonist showed up. The most notable expansion was when the Dragon Ball multiverse was revealed, a concept that raised the stakes when the Tournament of Power came around, as each universe had to fight each other or be erased. How's that for stakes?
But like, what has that really been something we haven't seen before, to be honest? Because Boo himself was a freaking universal menace himself, if we're being honest. Especially to heaven! Because they couldn't let anyone rest in peace before he wiped out their existence! In heaven! In freaking heaven! He wouldn't let anyone rest in heaven! Bro, I'm sorry. I don't know if I agree with that either. What?
Stakes. We mentioned earlier how Dragon Ball Super does humor much better than Dragon Ball Z, and that most of it is derived from the slice-of-life episodes. Those episodes and moments
They did humor again?!
Are actually another thing we believe that Super does better is derived from the slice-of-life episodes. Those episodes and moments are actually another thing we believe that Super does better than Z. While some fans might be annoyed at it,
I can't agree with that. There are a lot of like really good moments of some decent slice of life examples in like Dragon Ball, such as like when Goku was hanging out with Gohan before the Cell games. And it takes like a decent break from like a little bit of the action going on in between the arc. It allows you to get a little bit more of a breather here, and also just like you kind of like are speculating about like a little bit of like what the hell is Goku doing and shit. But like the slice of life episodes just don't really like, I wouldn't say fully relate to like the incoming plot. But at the same time, I'm not gonna say the slice of life episodes are bad for Super at all. Far from that. Having moments like where, for example, like Vegeta hangs out with his family is pretty good, and also is a testament to his growing character. But I wouldn't say that like the slice of life aspects are like better overall than DBZ Super, to be honest. I think they are welcome though.
Dragon Ball Super tends to devote quite a bit of time to the day-to-day lives of Goku and friends. And while Z did the same, it was often in the form of low-quality filler, with Goku and Piccolo's driving lesson being one of the few gems. Dragon Ball Super, on the other hand, does a much better job with these slice-of-life episodes, finding humor in putting Goku, Vegeta, and other superhuman martial artists in everyday situations that, as shonen characters, they definitely don't belong in. We also appreciate fun relationship moments, something that Dragon Ball Super has in spades, from Gohan and Vidal's home life to Bulma and Vegeta's adorable bickering.
So is that humor or slice of life? Because you clearly labeled this fucking humor.
And Chi-Chi attempting to stop Goku from training. No matter how you put it, Dragon Ball Super is sometimes at
There is a difference as well between like slice of life moments that aren't really like taken away from the plot. Like I feel like a great example of like a series that does this pretty well for like mixing in slice of life episode moments and shit and like having it kind of like mix in with the plot pretty well is MHA. It does a decent job at like mixing in those like slice of life moments and like also making it feel like really and mixes in pretty well with the plot. I'm with Dragon Ball Super. Sometimes it's just at times slice of life, and everything as well.
at its best when showing the day-to-day lives of the characters, something it does better than Z ever did. If you ask the biggest, most dedicated Dragon Ball fan, you'll find that even they have a few plot holes and unanswered questions to complain about when it comes to DBZ. Perhaps this is a bit of an exaggeration, but the point stands. Dragon Ball Z had a lot of issues, from plot holes to continuity errors to problematic and undesirable elements. Dragon Ball Super, on the other hand, actually goes to great lengths to address some of these issues. One of the most significant examples
and creates new ones. Like, what?
Examples of this was when the Kais explained how Goku and Vegeta ended up unfusing despite Potara fusions being said to be permanent. In the Future Trunks saga of Dragon Ball Super, we learned the reason behind this. Some fans speculated that it was the magical nature of Boo's innards, but Super revealed that Potara fusions are only permanent when two Kais fuse.
Oh, that— no! Mai in the Trunks ship is worse. Oh god, let's not talk about that one. Oh my god.
And they have a 1-hour time limit when mortals use earrings. Dragon Ball Super also
it creates
a major
new
issue of Master Roshi, whose perverted ways stand as one of the series' most problematic
and somehow it's not as worse than like the freaking— Bro, oh yeah, we have the pervy characters just acting like a pervert. Yeah, maybe it might not be your cup of tea, but how about we talk about the Mayan Trunk ship?
aspects. But Super had him get over his weakness for women, ridding the franchise of his disgusting behavior once and for all.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Dragon Ball Z was a major zag from the series that came before it. Sure, Dragon Ball had already started to shift the series' focus on antagonist-based sagas, but Z almost feels like an entirely different world compared to Dragon Ball. This is obviously a result of the manga and the time skip that took place between the Piccolo Jr. saga and the Saiyan saga. But still, the two eras of Dragon Ball are very different. As such, DBZ feels lacking in elements established in Dragon Ball, aside from the characters, while Dragon Ball Super makes a lot more callbacks to the original series. Some examples of this include a second crossover episode with Dr. Slump and the— As such, DBZ feels lacking in elements established in Dragon Ball, aside from the characters, while a fairly different world compared to Dragon Ball. This is antagonist-based sagas, but Z almost feels like an entirely different world compared to
What? No?
Dragon Ball. This is obviously a result of the manga and the time skip that took place between the Piccolo Jr. saga and the Saiyan saga. But still, the two eras of Dragon Ball are very different. As such, DBZ feels lacking in elements established in Dragon Ball, aside from the characters, while Dragon Ball—
I don't know about that one, Chief!
Super makes a lot more callbacks to the original series. Some examples of this include a second crossover episode.
Here's an actual
Dr.
good
Slump
point. DBS did, yeah, he did. Yeah, they did. They objectively did that better.
The return of the Pilaf Gang. The Pilaf Gang is a major one, since it brought back the series' first antagonists, and gave them a redemptive arc similar to the villains that came later in the series. Additionally, the Evil Containment Wave also came back, the move being used in the Future Trunks saga and in the Tournament of Power. We also saw Goku and Krillin go back to Master Roshi for training at one point, and even saw Goku use the Flying Nimbus again. Now that is old school.
Oh boy. Filler? We're saying someone did filler better, even though that's shit that you usually skip?
Next up, let's talk about filler, or rather Dragon Ball Super's lack of it. For the—
time, most of the backstory with Broly was mistranslated. I
For those
mean,
who don't know, filler is what happens when an anime adapting a manga catches up with the source material and has to create original stories to stall for time, so the manga can build up more story content to adapt. Dragon Ball was notorious for its filler in both the first series and in Dragon Ball Z, but this is not the case in Dragon Ball Super. Sure, there are inconsequential episodes that could be considered filler under a certain
DBZ film. Yeah, like, what if, like, the Garlic Jr. saga shit? You know what? Nah, I feel like, you know what? Bro, nah, some of the DBZ filler was actually pretty fun, though. Well, like, first off, I find it pointless, like, argue which fucking series to filler better because it's fucking filler. But you know what? Garlic Jr. clears all the DB Super filler. Get out of here!
definition, but since Super is an original series not adapted from a manga, there is technically no filler in it. In this regard, Super is superior to Dragon Ball Z in that it doesn't have any non-canon material. Again, some
What?
filler in it. In this regard, Super is superior. No filler in it. In this regard, Super is considered filler under a certain definition, but since Super is an original series not adapted from a manga, there is
Well, well, I guess. I don't think that makes that DB0 had Peakon too. OG Dragon Ball had better filler though. Yeah, but we're talking about like DBZ versus like. I mean, there are stark differences between the Dragon Ball Super manga and the anime, but like, I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know about that
There's
one.
technically no filler in it. In this regard, Super is superior to Dragon Ball Z in that it doesn't have any non-canon material. Again, some of the mini-sagas between the larger ones of Dragon Ball Super are
Well, they're like the Dragon Ball Super's manga and anime are just like very, very different in comparison. Like they're just like on like. And I'm like, I can't watch it. What other points does this guy make? What unique powers? Bro, are we really trying to praise the entire Future Trunks Goku Black Deus Ex Machina? Or I'm sorry, Fuse Zamasu Deus Ex Machina? Really? New transformations? I mean, I'll give him that. Ultra Instinct and freaking Super Saiyan God in Blue are pretty cool. But animation? Are we actually high right now? I mean, there are some good animation moments, but they're like I mean, I feel like the complaints about the animation are a little bit overblown in like with like Dragon Ball Super, because the main example is always episode 5 and shit. But I can't really agree that like Dragon Ball Super had better animation is what I'm trying to say. Older characters, I could they do utilize 17, 18, and Tien a little better, so I could kind of agree with that. Goku and Vegeta is a rivalry? I don't know about that one. Strategy? Female Saiyans? Okay. I could kind of, I mean, interesting Kale and Kefla. That's, yeah, I'll give him that one. So, like, let's see. 0 for 2, 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 6. Unique powers, 0 for 7, 0 of 8, 1 of 9, 1 of 10, 2 of 11, 2 of 12, 2 of 13, 3 of 14, and 3 of 15. So you got 3 out of 15, boys. Congratulations. Kai does sweep. Kai is great. Animation. I gotta say, like, I like the forms of, like, freaking, I like Ultra Instinct a lot. It's such a cool freaking form. I don't like how DV Super kind of, like, went into, like, a route of, like, pull out a new transformation bag and shit. But I honestly really fucking like Dragon Ultra Instinct a lot, to be honest. So I prefer Ultra Instinct to Super Saiyan, to be honest, even though I think Super Saiyan's a lot more iconic. I'm just a sucker for white hair transformations. I'm just a sucker for like white hair transformations. That's my thing. But I don't think but honestly none of those forms compare to the greatness of Super Saiyan 4. I don't care what y'all have to say about GT. Super Saiyan 4 is the best transformation in Dragon Ball. I am not taking this back. I'm not. Here, okay, let's talk about this. Goku overcoming his trauma and a transformation that killed his grandfather. Awesome. Him becoming Super Saiyan 4 to whoop the shit out of Super Boo's ass. I'm not Super Boo. Fucking baby's ass. Super baby's ass. Yeah, check. And like the amount of like hype that shit was. Woo! Boy, man. Oh boy. I'm telling y'all, Super Saiyan 4 is the best freaking transformation in Dragon Ball. Not even close. It's better than Super Saiyan. Don't come at me. Super Saiyan 4 is better than Super Saiyan. Freaking Super Saiyan, it's better than Ultra Instinct. It's better than God Form. It's better than Blue. It's better than Free. Super Saiyan 4 is the best transformation in all of Dragon Ball. Not even close. Oh my god, yes. I will say that until the cows come home. That transformation is the best. Alright, I'm gonna take a nap. Have a good day, everybody. I'm taking a nap. Bye-bye. Peace.